I am here with Jason Keeley from Paizo Pathfinder, releasing today the new book, Pathfinder Battlecry. Jason, why don't you tell us a little bit more about this? Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Pathfinder Battlecry is our source book for all things war related. We in the world of Golarion, we just had the War of Immortals, where gods are fighting it out and god juice spewing everywhere. But this is the chance for the mortal realms of Golarion to duke it out. We basically have 2 new classes, brand new ancestry, archetypes, spells, feats for other classes, rituals, items, everything you could want to sort of focus your campaign on war.
Awesome.
And we're talking like, the War of the Five Kings kind of stuff, like big battle, set piece battles is what we want to like kind of focus on here.
Great.
Yeah.
So what was like kind of inspiration for making a war themed kind of book here? Like where did you draw inspiration from with that?
For me, when I was brought onto the project, it was a situation where I looked at like, I wanted to get the, war can be a kind of a tricky subject to talk about these days, of course, right? So we wanted to make sure that this was the heroic adventure war that people are used to with, movies like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that, where, the battle scenes in Game of the Thrones. It can be heroic, it can be a little gritty and dirty too, like in Game of Thrones.
Right.
So those sort of things I looked at. I reread, I should say, Henry V, Shakespeare's Henry V.
Nice,
which is all about the Battle of Agincourt and what's that like, and sort of get inspiration for like what happens before war, what happens after war, and that kind of stuff like that. I'm a bit of a theater nerd, so I went to Shakespeare, of course.
Of course, yeah.
Whereas I had, some other people on the project who were actually in the military giving me, giving some stuff. There's a few like new siege engines in here and battle vehicles that are based on stuff that like people used in like, actual combat.
Right.
But with a fantasy twist, of course, right?
Yeah.
The big thing, well, there's a couple of things. The big thing here on the cover.
Yeah, tell us about this guy. This guy looks awesome.
This is our iconic Grimir. I love him because he's my big blue guy.
Yeah.
He is the new Jotunborn ancestry.
Okay.
And the Jotunborn are descendants of planar giants, the Titans, basically, who helped make the universe, right?
Right, yeah.
And the gods were like, hey, when the Titans kind of rebelled against them, the gods were like, well, we need someone who's a little more docile.
Right.
So they sort of took a little bit of that essence and made the Jotunborn's ancestors, put them in a sort of a subplanar realm, which we're calling the Fray.
Right.
It sort of sits just beneath the universe. It's not exactly like the Shadow Plane or anything like that, because it's got its own little thing.
Right.
It's not a full plane all of itself. It's just sort of this sort of underneath. And they come back to the Rain universe to clean things up.
Right.
Right, when we had the Earthfall happen in Galarion's history, when the big meteorite came down, they sort of popped up to help clean things up.
Right.
And now with the death of Gorum and all of his bits kind of raining from the sky, more Jotunborn are showing up to sort of help clean up all those messes. But now they're a little stuck. Some of them get stuck here and can't go back to their home.
Awesome.
And so that's where the adventurers come in.
Right.
He is.
That sounds interesting.
You can kind of see he's got these sort of like gauntlets.
Yeah.
These gauntlets are made from a sort of a planar crustacean.
I can tell that with the design there.
It's kind of like a crab beetle called an ivlar, and they are like they weave this silk.
Right.
That happen, and the Jotunborn take this silk, and as a part of their sort of like maturation and coming to age, weave it into their own skin.
Nice.
With cool designs.
Yeah.
So you'll see a bunch of cool designs
in
here of the different Jotunborn, and this thing they can cause the weaving to glow.
Right.
A little bit. So that is kind of like their sort of backstory. But of course they're big, they're size large.
Right.
And so that's a good presence you want to have on the battlefield.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely.
And indeed there are, he is the iconic for the new Guardian class, which I wrote.
Cool.
To be the sort of tankiest tank.
Yeah.
That could be big armor, sometimes big weapons, sometimes big shields.
Yeah.
Taking hits for your friends.
Yeah.
And just, getting in everyone's face.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that idea because I am someone that loves playing Barbarian, but I love being like a character that's not only just like a tank, but be able to like help protect other people on the field. So the Guardian class sounds fantastic for
what
that.
You need. If you don't mind wearing big, heavy armor, which is going to help protect you.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
But your Barbarian is more about being light and getting around and stuff
right,
like that.
Right.
But these guys have the 12 hit points like a Barbarian does, so they got the hit points.
Yeah.
Con's going to be important to them. Strength's going to be important for doing the damage with weapons. You can see here, our Grimir here has got this two-handed war flail dangling up here. It's a it's a giant nonsense weapon, and I love it. And the other class we have is this is Oath Shriek Orc Commander, and the commander is of course going to be important for battlefield, basically control.
Right.
And to say. Giving orders to the other teammates that if they can spend their reactions, they can follow them and get maybe an extra stride on their turn and that kind of stuff.
Right, right.
Lots of things to choose from. We kind of liken it to, in a weird way, a martial spellcaster. It's not exactly spells, but you prep things in the morning and you train with your squad.
Yeah.
Like, here's when I do this, you're going to say this. And of course, she's got a banner here, and people inside the banner get bonuses and stuff. So it's all about that. There's a lot of in both the classes here. There's a lot of movement, right? You're moving people around the battlefield. We wanted to take that battlefield control idea and sort of really bake it into a bunch of classes.
Yeah.
So you're pushing people, you're shoving, you're forcing them over here. The Guardian has like a juggernaut charge thing where you smash, you hit someone, you pick them up and carry them.
Yeah.
You hit them the rest of your stride, basically.
Awesome. So if you get like a bunch of enemies like just lined up.
Well, you just hit one guy with this one,
but you can just keep like charging through after that, right?
You sort of push them all back away from your squishier teammates.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I love that. That's so cool. Awesome.
Yeah. The other huge thing that's in this book is our skirmish encounters subsystem. This is more about when you want to have those sort of clashes on the field where you're fighting troops against troops.
Right.
If you know, Pathfinder has a troop creature type.
Right.
Which is basically like a swarm, but for humans and medium-sized creatures and small-sized creatures, right? Mm-hmm. Soldiers and whatnot. And this subsystem, each character takes control of a troop unit.
Okay.
And uses that in battle, usually probably against other troops with other commanders, fighting them, right? And so it is just a slight sort of bolt-on to your regular combats, because you still get to use your Barbarian's Rage or your Guardian's reactions and stuff like that.
Right.
Except that you're just moving inside this troop, kind of like a big Dynasty Warriors kind of like video game. You're just there's all these people around you.
Yeah.
You're moving along with them. You're granting them actions, and you're telling them what to do, basically.
Right.
So you're still playing your character, so it's not a completely different subsystem.
Right.
But it is something that they're sort of just for skirmishes against troops smashing into each other.
Awesome.
So great. And there's a whole bunch of new troops in here too for that.
That's great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about the Hellfire Crisis as well too?
Yeah. This is the kickoff for the Hellfire Crisis. Mm-hmm. A sort of a meta event that we're doing here, similar to the War of Immortals and the Gorm's Death. This big meta event that changed the setting.
Right.
Hellfire Crisis is going to change the setting irreparably, but I'm not going to tell you how just yet, because that's the secret.
Right.
But it all begins in the tiny little nation of Isger, when there is just some light fascism happening because of the Cheliax's Hell Knights, the devil-worshipping Cheliax nation coming in and saying, hey, we want some of that, Gorm's pieces that are there, and there's like an insurrectionist group. Isger has always been under the thumb of Cheliax for decades and decades and decades. They're sort of a vassal state. But now some of the people are getting fed up about it. So there's a small insurrection there. Cheliax kind of overdoes it, goes in there and takes control over a small town. And then Andoran, which is our freedom-loving nation, which is right next door to Cheliax on some unfortunate reason, they send some sort of like ambassadorial help, some aid there, and then those aid workers, there's a general, a semi-retired general that's beloved in Andoran gets executed. And so that kicks off a war between Andoran and Cheliax.
That would do it, yeah.
Full war.
Yeah.
They're going to be batting heads against each other. They're going to maybe be dragging in allies from other nations across the Inner Sea region. Mm-hmm. There's going to be fronts all over the place. What's going to happen to Isger? Are they going to have a full revolution? All of this stuff is going to play out over the course of the next year or so.
Right.
With that, we have the Hellbreakers Adventure Path that you can play as part of this. You're sort of playing in Isger as part of this revolution. Mm-hmm. That's like a 1 to 10 adventure path that comes out, sometime early next year.
Right.
And then we're going to have a second one. We haven't really announced it yet exactly what it is, but it's sort of the higher level version of what's going on there. You're going to be sort of, again, shaping and taking part of this war. And here at Gen Con right now, we have the kickoff for that.
Yeah.
Which is called the Battle of Hell Knight Hill. It's a big event. We got all this terrain, lots of minis. You're sort of taking control of these troops to sort of show the first battle of the Hellfire Crisis, which is when Andoran and Cheliax clash at this old Hell Knight citadel that's been abandoned and reclaimed for ages. It's just outside this little town that they've been sort of like controlling.
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll have some Lost Omens books for that.
Yeah.
We'll have some other Pathfinder Society scenarios. We're going to have a novel that's set during all these events. It's going to be great.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That's
the whole
great.
thing.
Well, before we wrap it up, I
Yeah.
want to ask you, what class is your favorite in Pathfinder that you like
Okay.
to? It could be whether you play or
Yes.
one that you like by
Yes.
design.
I mean, my gut is like, oh, I just say the Guardian again.
Right, yeah.
I love the Guardian. I
The
haven't-
Guardian's great. Yes.
I haven't played the Guardian myself yet. Obviously, we did a lot of play testing for it. But,
Right.
And I want to thank everyone out there who did the play test for that, for those two classes. Immensely helpful.
Right.
But what I like to play, let's see, what do I like? I kind of like playing everything,
Yeah.
whatever I get a character idea.
Right.
I am enjoying playing a monk right now.
Nice.
That is also a cook. And
Oh, that's awesome.
Does the it's a halfling monk, and they've got the battle frying pan.
Yeah.
It takes a little juking and jiving to get the battle pan to work with the flurry of blows.
Right.
But my GM worked with me for that, so that was great.
That's awesome.
He's got this wandering chef dedication from one of the Tian Shaw character guide
Yeah.
books, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, basically, it's kind of like alchemy, but just for food. And I'm cooking up stuff, and I'm feeding everybody, and I'm also basically the healer of the group too.
Right.
But yeah, I love that. I have played a barbarian who was a little cactus man.
Oh, love it. Yeah.
and it was a more of a Wild West setting. Was a
Yeah.
barbarian setting,
Oh, yeah.
So homebrew. I love playing him because I got to curse a lot. He was just like, "What do you do?"
Yeah.
And then just sort of barrel into people and punch them with my spiky fists.
As you do, as a barbarian.
As
Yeah.
a barbarian. Gotta do it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Jason, thank you very much. It was great talking to you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Great
so
talking to
Battle Cry is out now. So if you're around, or order online at their store or at the shop, yeah, but definitely check it out. So
you. Check it out.
thank you.
Thank you.